program. This is Spotlight with Chinaza on KAFTAN television here in Abuja, where we are reaching you from. I am Chinaza as usual. And on today's program, let's talk about security. Nigeria has since seen the two different cases of two young men who has been unalived by the same people who are meant to protect them. Nigeria has shaken this week by two cases of alleged self-elated deaths occurring within 24 hours of each other that have united Nigeria in grief, anger, and in one urgent question: who protects Nigeria from those who are paid to protect Nigeria? The first, which is in Dede, Abuja, the 25th of April, Abdul Samad Jamiu, a 24-year-old corps member and a civil engineering graduate, was asleep in his family home at Shagari Estate when soldiers attached to the Guards Brigade estates kicked in and scaled the compound fence in the early hours of the morning, made their way through the house and fired the bullet through the closed bedroom door. It struck him in the head. He died instantly. The younger sister was the only person around in the house, and as at the time, it is reported to be that his both parents were away at the burial. The Nigerian army says he was caught in a crossfire during a pursuit of armed robbers. His family said that this is false, that the only one gunshot was heard that night, that the bullet's trajectory proves the shots came through outside a closed door, and that soldiers on the scene admitted it was a mistake. Now, Jamil was 1 month away from completing his NYSC service. He had been planning to apply to become a military officer. The second, a Furon Delta State, the 26th of April, a 28-year-old musician, Mene Ogidi, was intercepted by police operatives who allege he was transporting a parcel containing a firearm. Now, a video which has since gone viral shows Ogidi already restrained, cooperating, and pleading for his life. ASP Nuhu Usman, the officer in charge, shot him dead. When the Delta State Police PRO was asked to explain what happened during a live television interview, he said, and these are his words, that spirituality may not be far from it. The Inspector General of Police has since ordered the dismissal and prosecution of Usman and other officers involved. Two young Nigerians whose family torn apart, two security institutions now under the national microscope. And one stubborn recurring question is there genuine accountability in this country, or is what we call accountability merely a performance that repeats itself until the next life is lost? This is where our conversation will be focusing on this evening. So we'll help our guests will join us after the short break to help us dissect all of this. To stay tuned. Examining education, security, the economy, and the pressing issues defining the state of the nation.
Anybody who says give Tinubu more time doesn't like Tinubu at all.
Insightful conversations, hard questions, real answers, no spin.
Each day you are sleeping, whether on the daytime or in the night, all your eyes will be open.
You cannot give more time to a government that has limited time.
From power to the people, from policy to practice, This is where leadership meets accountability. This is where your voice is heard.
We don't take money and give to rich people.
Do they have to tell us what they're using the money for?
They cannot determine what happens to the PDP tomorrow.
If it matters to Nigeria, it is under the spotlight.
It is only in the tenure of Professor Charles Soludo that two sitting members of Anambra State House of Assembly were given solely money.
To the streets where policy becomes reality. Spotlight with Chinaza goes beyond the headlines. Examining education, security, the economy, and the pressing issues defining the state of the nation.
Anybody who says give Tinubu more time doesn't like Tinubu at all.
Insightful conversations, hard questions, real answers, no spin.
Each day you are sleeping, whether on the daytime or in the night, all your eyes will be open.
You cannot give more time to a government that has limited time.
From power to the people, from policy to practice, this is where leadership meets accountability. This is where your voice is heard.
We don't take money and give to rich people.
Do they have to tell us what they're using the money for?
They cannot determine what happens to the PDP tomorrow.
If it matters to Nigeria, it is under the spotlight.
It is only in the tenure of Professor Charles Soludo that two sitting members of Anambra State House of Assembly were given solely money.
To the streets where policy becomes reality. Spotlight with Chinaza goes beyond the headlines. Welcome back from that break. And as the 2027 general election draws closer, there are so many questions around security and the safety of Nigerians and civilians who will be out there to vote, with what we've seen in recent time regarding security. And this is not just about the terrorists and the bandit alone. There are so many questions about the disciplinary action around the military force. And of course, this evening I'm being joined by Captain Dr. Lukman Gidado, who is a security expert and a public affairs analyst, to help us make sense. He joins me live in the studio. A very good evening and thank you for being here.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Well, let me begin by saying Happy Workers' Day, though. Well, okay, now let's get into the discussion. When you look at both the recent incident that has happened recently, that of Dede and that of Delta, both cases side by side, occurring in less than 24 hours or in 24 hours. What does that tell you about the state of discipline within the Nigeria security foresight?
Okay, let me start with the issue of the killing of Abdul Samad in an estate called Shagari Estate around the general area by the soldiers of Gas Brigade. I want to express my condolences to the family.
Oh, you were there?
I wasn't there. So I'm expressing my condolences.
Okay, you went to pay your condolences.
Okay. So my sympathy goes to the family because a life has been cut short, and it is indeed a sad one, a very, very sad situation. And if you look at the context, there are conflicting reports within the media space. It was alleged that it was as a result of gunfire that the military were in pursuit of armed robbers.
Okay.
So as a result of that, there was a crossfire and a bullet hit Abdul Samad. That was the initial report we got from the military. But the family debunked it in its entirety. That now led the military to send a delegation led by Colonel S.O. Buhari, who is the Chief of Staff of Headquarter Gas Brigade. And I want to applaud the senior officer for being able to handle the issue excellently. He was very calm, and he was able to represent the military very well. Because if another officer that lacked emotional intelligence was sent to the scene, he will have aggravated the issue beyond context. But he was able to show empathy, control his men, and actually condole with the family. I think the senior officer needs to be applauded for his professionalism and for showing empathy in such a very, very sad and ugly situation. And after he left, after Colonel S.O. Buhari left, the SIB, the military police investigation team of the Nigerian military, also arrived at this scene to condole with the family and commence a very, very robust investigation. So right now as we speak, there is an investigation that the military has launched. The personnel involved are also with the SIB to actually unravel the situation and the circumstances that warranted the killing of that innocent boy, Abdul Samad. It is a sad one. And even as we speak up to this moment, the Defense Secretary released a statement that efforts are ongoing towards actually unraveling the circumstances behind the loss of the life of Abdul Samad. So when situations like this happen, you know, many a times the report the military will send out is usually very, very sketchy. So, and I want to strongly believe that by the time the military concludes its investigation, we are going to actually know the circumstances that led to the gunfire, that led to the loss of life of Abdul Samad. So, taking a cue from that, we don't have another army. This is our army. The report revealed that that general area, that DTAH general area, especially around that Shagari estate, they have been experiencing series of criminality in the past.
And that was why they requested for, you know, security. Now, you know, me, it's just like me running to someone for help, not knowing that the person I'm even running to for help is even the one who is who is to take my life.
No, actually, from my findings, the gas brigade troops have been maintaining peace in that general area in the last 2-3 years. So this ugly incident is just something that one cannot even...
There have also been cases and reports that say that a number of times the army have also beaten the motorcyclists in the estates.
If you are able to dig further, you attest to the fact that the current peace, that people are able to carry out their normal activities without hitches at the moment in that Shagari Estate General area, is as a result of the gas brigade troop that have been deployed there in the past few years. We are not saying that the army or the military is the perfect system. No. They are Nigerians. Personnel of the Nigerian police, the Nigerian military, they are all Nigerians. And in any human collectivity, you always find people wanting in one way or the other. So not saying that what happened is a good one. No, it is indeed a very, very sad one, and I condole with the family. It's not an easy thing to lose the life of a very, very promising young man. So why saying that they are beating motorcyclists in that general area? I can equally say that the peace that they are enjoying is as a result of the gas brigade troops that have been maintaining peace, law and order in that general area. I happened to serve in gas brigade, and I know the instrumentalities of the gas brigade. Gas brigade is an elite brigade. They are not, any officers or soldiers are not just usually being posted there. But that's not to say that they are perfect human beings. We are human beings, we always, in one way or the other, we always be heard.
These are costly mistakes.
It is indeed a very sad one, and that is why I'm saying that the military has launched a very, very holistic investigation that will unravel the circumstances that led to the loss of the life of Abdul Samad. And anybody found culpable will be brought to justice. And the family, as a matter of fact, they've been engaging with the military over time in the past few days that this ugly incident happened, and they will equally be kept abreast of the situation when the investigation is concluded. So let us equally give it to gas brigade for trying to maintain peace and in that general area, because people are able to carry out their normal activities without issues as a result of the troops being deployed there. Only that this ugly incident just is not something that anybody wants or anybody prayed for. And like I said, I condole with the family, and may the soul of Abdul Samad rest in peace by the grace of God. Now to the issue of the Nigerian police force, the killing of the innocent young man in Delta State. This is another ugly incident. Another life of a young man got shot. Like I said, what is obtainable in the military is also obtainable in the police. If you look at the current policing framework, since the assumption of office of the current IGP, Inspector General of Police Liwan Disu, he has made it known periodically in all his engagement that the Nigerian police force belongs to Nigerians, belongs to the people. On no account will any officer be seen actually treating Nigerians in an inhumane and unacceptable manner. Both the military and the police, they have rules of engagement. And when you look at the circumstances that actually led to the death of that innocent man in Delta State, the police had no reason to fire. This man has been arrested. He was tied down. From report, he was even taken to the station. And what could be the reason that will now make you to not take to shoot at him? It's uncalled for. And the no-nonsense IGP that we have done the needful. He has been dismissed and he will be prosecuted accordingly. But justice should be sent to be done so that that can further restore the public confidence in all our government institutions, especially the police and the military. And I strongly believe that with what Inspector General of Police is known for, we will follow to the latter to make sure that the law take its full course in ensuring that the officers found wanting, found culpable, are brought to book and to face the full music of law.
Okay, now, very quickly, the Nigerian Army First Response was a press statement claiming crossfire. That's now we talk about the one that happened in Delta. The PRO initially cited spirituality. That, as a legal mind, what does these initial response indicate about how seriously institutions take accountability? Because it was surprising and to an extent very ridiculous to say that incident like this was could be traced to a spiritual problem, whereas a lot of Nigerians are asking how well and how far the discipline within the Nigerian police force has been or is been going.
Okay, to come out on here and be mentioning spirituality shows for me high level of unprofessionalism. I think we should not be in a hurry. This goes to the police and the military. We should not be in a hurry to releasing statements. In as much as it's always good to send a contact report, okay, to make the public aware of the fact that this is what happened. But it is equally very, very good and more professional that the circumstances that led to social situation is very, very sketchy at this point in time. However, the force will launch a comprehensive investigation to unravel the circumstances. I think that would be more professional and more better to foster public confidence. So when you are in a hurry to release a statement, you should be conscious of the fact that you are the people's army, you are the people's police. Nigerians look up to you towards their safety. So when you now come out on here, are you telling Nigerians they don't know what they are doing? And you are mentioning spirituality. I think those in charge of releasing press statement, the police spokespersons across board, needs continuous training and retraining. That under tense situation, you are going to be expected to bring your high level of emotional intelligence into bear, because whatever you say, the social media does not forget. And you should be conscious of the fact that you are representing an institution of the government, and representing that institution shows that you have to be professional in all your actions and inactions. So this goes further to give credence to the fact that all the spokesperson of the Nigerian police across board, there's need for an enhanced training and retraining on when there are tense situations, on how to handle such situation requires emotional intelligence, requires professionalism, not being in a hurry to release a press statement. Like I said earlier, it would be better to say, okay, at the moment we've received a report that so-so thing have happened, but we cannot categorically state that this is the reason. The details are sketchy for now, but we are going to intimate the public when a detailed investigation is launched. That saves you a lot of trouble. Then you now go and conduct a high-level powered investigation. Then you cannot intimate the public with a comprehensive report of what actually happened. So, like I said, the police should try as much as possible to train their spokesperson in all states, both at the federal, the local government, and other areas, on the need to be more professional when there are tense situations that requires you to represent the public in a professional way.
No, that of Abdul Samad, the family is alleging that soldiers ordered vigilante to bury the skull fragments and clean the crime scene before investigation arrived. If proven, what criminal offense does that constitute?
Like I said, the military have launched an investigation by the SIB. Even the commander of the SIB was at the scene. And investigations are ongoing. The personnel involved, from reports, they are currently being investigated thoroughly, so that we can, bring about the nexus between what the vigilantes said and what actually happened. It will be a very, very sad one for you to, kill an innocent human being, innocent Nigerian, and to now order for the skull to be buried. I saw the scene on social media post that the vigilante have to go and show the military that went for the military police. Then they dug out where it was buried. That is a sad one. But everybody is still, in a dilemma as to what happened, what would have prompted this, and unless a comprehensive investigation is conducted, we will just be assuming. To leave any form of assumption, I think we should give the military the time to actually conduct this investigation. And I equally say that we've seen instances whereby security officers, security personnel, do not represent the personnel in a positive light, in a professional way. I don't know whether you had the opportunity of coming across the army delegation led by Colonel S. Obuari to visit the family, to condole with the family. You know, you will have applauded the senior officer because the emotions are already high. The families are in dilemma. They've lost a very promising young man with a bright future. And from report, he was to finish and round up his NYC in the next few months or thereabout.
Captain, you served in the Nigerian military for a very long time, and I am not trying to dispute the fact when you say give the military time, but the question is discipline, because yes, we're going to give the military time to carry out their investigation, but then again, what is going on regarding the discipline around the military, the Nigerian the Nigerian police, the army? Because this is not the first time. We applaud the IGP for his decisive action. That's very applaudable. But then this is not the first. Like I said, we've seen several cases. We have that of the NSAS. We have that of the Lekki toll gates. We have Tundi, Biri. Many of them, even the one that recently happened. And at the end of all this, all we hear is investigation. We haven't really seen any form of or any serious conviction. And why is that?
Okay. When you talk about security issues, many a times, some aspects will not be divulged to the public. But issues of this nature should not be kept away from the public. Including
that of conviction should not be made available to the public.
I'm coming to that. But the cases we have at hand, at the defense headquarters, there's always a media parley with the journalist, the defense spokesperson, and that happened, I think, yesterday, where the military assured the public, the general public, that the outcome of this investigation will be made known to the public. And same thing was said at the first headquarters of the Nigerian police. So these are issues that you cannot just bury. Nigerians will not take it. Nigerians are not stupid people.
There are so many that has been buried.
So let's talk about.
Do you agree with me?
Let's talk about the current issues that we have at hand, because we've had 2 innocent young men losing their lives.
Exactly.
So this cannot be buried. I am also an advocate of the fact that whatever the outcome of the investigation is should be made known to the public, and anyone found culpable should be made to face the full wrath of law publicly. It should be seen. Justice should be seen to dispense, not that people will hear about it.
You know, the assurance that you're giving that this will not be buried, whereas so many others have been buried. So what's giving you that conviction?
Like I said that these are issues that Nigerians will fold their arms and they are waiting to hear the outcome of this investigation. Because you made mention of NSAS. In as much as NSAS was against police brutality in Nigeria, but you could agree with me that it actually affects Nigerians negatively. Businesses were shut down. It was hijacked by hoodlums, looting of businesses, and we don't pray to experience anything of such anymore, because it has the pros and cons. It has advantages and disadvantages. Hoodlums to hijack the inside, in as much as maybe the intention of the organizers was a very good one, but it was hijacked. Looting took place, unwarranted, indiscriminate arson looting. People, fundamental human right was abrogated. You understand? So why we don't want another form of NSAS? You made mention of discipline in the military and in the police. Having the privilege to serve in the Nigerian military, I can tell you for a fact that discipline, time management, leadership, and a host of others, there is not any other organization you can get to other than the military. And I equally say that whatever that is obtainable within the larger Nigerian society, you should expect some of it in the Nigerian police, in the military, and other institutions of government, because they are peopled by Nigerians. They are not peopled by Cameroonians or Nigerians or South Africans. So in as much as they have undergone some level of training, which made them to be ahead when it comes to discipline, we are all human. We are human beings. You will still find some people that will still be hurt. And that is why they say, according to Niccolo Machiavelli, good laws without good hands are nothing but mere laws. That is why where there are conditions, there are punishment for each punishment. such as aiding and abetting the enemy, communicating with the enemy, going on AWOL, all these, the sodomy and the rest, they have punishment set aside for them. And if eventually the outcome of the investigation reveal any form of homicide, the military will ensure that those found culpable, they are made to face the full wrath of law. And I'm equally calling on the military hierarchy and the police hierarchy that Nigerians are looking up to the military and the police for their safety. These are the institutions of government that are, that have the mandate to ensure the safety of life and property in Nigeria. So for them to foster public confidence, I'm calling on them that this should not be swept under the carpet. The outcome of the investigation from both the military, the army, and the police should be made known to the public, and anybody that will be prosecuted should be made known to the public so that the people will see, Nigerians will see that justice has actually took place, not that they will be hearing about it. If that is done, it will go a long way towards restoring the confidence that people already have both in the military and in the police.
And now, I heard you mentioned that you paid a condolence visit to the family. So I'm wondering...
Not in person. I said I want to, when I started, I said I want to condole with the family.
Oh, okay. I thought you did. Oh, okay. I thought you were there physically.
It is the military that sent their delegation, led by the Chief of Staff of Headquarters, that's Colonel Esobuari, to pay condolence visit to the family. Okay.
Now, the family is demanding a civilian-led independent investigation and not a military investigation. What does that tell you about the trust in the military?
Okay. It is not out of place for the family to demand for such. And like I said, the life of their son has been lost. And whatever the family wants, I equally support them because it is their right. They cannot fold their arms and just allow it to be swept under the carpet. But when you now look at the context, the people involved are military personnel. And as a soldier, as a personnel of the Nigerian military, you are under two laws. You are under the civil law and you are under the military law. So whatever the investigation the military is conducting, they will allow that to take a full course. Before that will now be handed over to the civilian authority for further investigation and if possible prosecution. So the military will not just, they will conduct their own investigation, they will conclude it and hand over to the civil authority to finish up and conduct maybe a more robust investigation if need be. So people should understand this context that as a military personnel, civilians are under just under one law, which is the civil law. But you being in the military makes you to be entangled under two laws, military law and civil law. So when you are found wanting, when you are found culpable, the military will exhaust their judicial system. All the military instrumentalities of law will be allowed to be exhausted. Then the civil law will now take it off from there. So it's not out of place for the family to be requesting that they want an independent civilian investigation. That will definitely take place, but that is after the military have exhausted their own modus operandi in terms of investigation.
Now, I love the fact that you mentioned that the military hold a very, very sensitive and critical institution in Nigeria by, protecting lives and properties. And this is one institution I know clearly, and I admit that it should be properly managed when it comes to discipline, because these are people who have safeguarding lives and properties, not animals. So yes, people make mistakes, but there shouldn't be room for some silly mistakes and for excuses. Also, we have Force Order 247, which ASP Usman. Sorry, the Force Order, which talked about how the violation governs the use of arms by police. Rules of engagement. So if these rules are there and they are clearly stated, and of course before you're being brought into the military, you're supposed to know about all of this. Why does it keep still existing?
Okay, there are rules of engagement. The condition under which you are expected to fire, to use your weapon. And one of them is when your life is at risk, when there is imminent threat, when the life of your colleague or your comrade is at risk, when you are guiding an asset or an institution, and that place is there's possibility of the place being attacked, you are allowed to use your weapon in all these situations. So, following these rules of engagement, if you are following them strictly, you'll be able to guide against indiscriminate use of firepower and indiscriminate and avoiding extrajudicial killing. In these two situations that we have at hand, these rules of engagement were not followed, because for the Abdul Samad case, the report has it that he was shot inside his room. The door was shut. Was it that the life of the military personnel deployed in that area was at risk? The answer is no.
No.
But like I said, they are people by Nigerians, and if it's in terms of training, there is I can tell you for a fact that in the military there is continuous training and retraining. From one rank to another rank, you go for training. Aside the Nigerian Army School that you go for training, even at the division and battalion and brigade level, they organize training. And most of what is being emphasized during all this training include rules of engagement. Or no, because you are recruited into the military and the police to protect the lives of Nigerians. So why will you just indiscriminately want to kill Nigerians? So that is why I'm saying that let us allow this investigation to take its course. And like I've called on the military authority and the police authority, I still want to call on them that the outcome of this investigation should be made known to the public. At the level of defense headquarters, they used to have a media pally, whereby you see journalists, the defense spokesperson will intimate them on issue affecting Nigerians. I think this also should not be left out. And also, the Nigerian police force hierarchy should also do the same. So though we've seen the bold step carried out by IGP of the police,
yes,
the officer has been pronounced dismissed, and it will be prosecuted, subject to the ratification of the Police Service Commission. So all these should be made known to the public. Nigerians should see it. It should not be swept under the carpet. But if it's in terms of discipline, the military is a very disciplined institution, but we always have people that will be found wanted in one way or the other. And this calls for the hierarchy of the military and the police to ensure that there is robust briefing when your men are being sent out for assignment. Commanders at all levels, not only the briefing that usually take place maybe in the barracks before they are sent out, even when you get to the ground, you should brief your men. On no account will you use your weapon indiscriminately to avoid extrajudicial killing. I think when this is done, it will also go a long way towards avoiding current issues that we have at hand.
Now, the 2027 general election is fast approaching. Historically, deployments of security forces increase before elections. But with what we've seen in the recent days, what safeguards should be in place to protect civilians? Because at this point, it's no longer news that the Nigerian people don't even have trust in the Nigerian police, again, even the military. So there's been breach of trust. What do you think as the election is fast approaching? Is this something you can beat your chest and say, oh, okay, the military are very disciplined, we can ensure a very safe election?
Okay, first and foremost, let me respond to the statement that Nigerians don't trust the military and they don't trust the police. I think I want to state unequivocally that the highest obligation of a citizen is to bear arms for his country. These are people that have decided to go and bear arms for this country. I think as against the backdrop of whatever the negativity that might be happening in the police and the military, I think we should applaud them. It's not an easy task. I haven't been there. It's not an easy task for you to be shooting at somebody, and you know the person is shooting at you, and you know that when you are hit with that bullet, you are gone. And these are people that that are sacrificing towards ensuring that we maintain the territorial integrity of Nigeria. So I think many people, their sacrifices many times are felt, they are not seen. When you are sleeping, these are people that are not sleeping. I'm not saying the military and the police are perfect. They are not perfect. Same as there is no any perfect military and police in the world. We've seen the issue of extrajudicial killing in the United States, where blacks will be killed indiscriminately. So this is not to give justification for killing people for no reason, but I want to say that these are the institutions whereby without them, Nigeria will not stand. Without the military, without the police, the personnel of these two institutions, taking the bold step to say no, we are ready, to pay the supreme sacrifice and to ensure that Nigeria remains united. I think we should applaud them. Now, coming to the general elections, I haven't participated in series of elections while in the military. There are always rules of engagement. Aside the general rules of engagement that everybody knows, there are equally rules of engagement when it comes to electioneering period. You hardly see the military going close to the ballots. They do more of outer cordon rule. So the institution of the government that have more role to play in terms of election is the police and civil defense. So if we want to judge that because of some negativity that we recently witnessed, that we should now use that to judge that, okay, there won't be security during election. Don't forget the fact that some people, for reasons best known to them, they don't kneel and wish well for this country. And there cannot be a perfect election. I've never seen anywhere in the world where you hear that the election was perfect. It is rather free, fair, credible, or democratic. So for us to have a free and fair election, the importance of the security aspect of the election cannot be overstated, and that is where the police comes in. Both are protecting the INEC officials, the election materials, the political party, even the politicians. You see them moving around with the security agents. So that's to tell you that security is something that you must not toy with. No matter how beautiful anything you want to do is, it will not strike in an environment devoid of security. So what I would say is that aside the general rules of engagement, when the rules of engagement comes out for election, the military and the police that will be involved and other security agencies, those personnel that will be deployed, they should read out the Riot Act explicitly for them. In a situation whereby you are found wanting, aiding and abetting electoral irregularity, this is the penalty. This should be, should sing this to them. This should be made known to them before being deployed for electioneering process. Because I said earlier that they are peopled by Nigerians. And you will always find yourself in a situation whereby somebody will be offering you some stipend just to work against your profession, to behave in an unprofessional manner. So when these rules of engagement is made known, you will find yourself in a situation whereby, let me choose between, ensuring that I maintain the credibility of the electioneering process, or I do otherwise. So when that is done, and any personnel is found wanting, even if that is done, that's not to tell you that some personnel will not be found wanting. Any personnel found wanting should also be allowed, arrested, and prosecuted. Because I keep emphasizing on the fact that there's no perfect system. But there should be measures that will be put in place to check any form of irregularity, any form of untoward incidences that have tendency of portraying the image of the police and the military in a negative way. So it's a continuous thing. It's not something that will just come and it will stop at that. There will be continuity in terms of singing it to the personnel, making them understand that these are the implications for your actions and inactions. If that is done, you hardly see issues of somebody compromising the standard expected of their various security agencies, because we need these people for us to have a credible election, so that hoodlums, people who don't mean well for this country, can actually be deterred towards disrupting the electioneering process. So we need that.
Okay, aside the two recent killings of the young men that has recently happened, now let's look into the Nigerian security as a whole. There are people who are saying that the military is either being overwhelmed by how it has managed the insecurity that Nigeria has seen, the high surge in the last few months, or it's being compromised? Is it overwhelmed or compromised? Which should we take? Because the level of insecurity we have seen most times, we even saw that the abduction of the girls in where did it happen? The abduction that happened, and so many people ask, what happens to intelligence gathering? KB State, there've been series of kidnaps, and people would wonder, these kidnaps go on for a while. This troop come in to, invade these communities, invade such premises, and this happens for more than 1 hour and to sometimes less than an hour. But you can't even find the military, either the police, the army, anywhere around. Why is that? It's worrisome.
Okay, it is a sad one that the Nigerian security landscape is experiencing plethora of insecurity issues. And you made mention of, when you were asking me the question, you keep saying the military, the military, the military. Okay, let me let you know today that when it comes to internal security duties, the police is the leading agency. The military is just to be called upon. Any situation that the police cannot contain, the military will be called upon, support the police, hold the ground, ensure that there is sanity, and withdraw. But is that the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria? The answer is A, no. That means the military, aside being overstretched, the military is doing what it's not trained to do. Internal security role. The military is trained to protect and maintain the territorial integrity of Nigeria as a country. That's not to say that they are not obliged under the law to support the civil authority, but not for a long period of time. Our borders are more, they are porous than ever before. Why? Part of the reason is because the military have left their traditional roles. The borders are porous. They are doing police role. And in line with that, I will call on the government. There have been agitations, debates, conferences regarding the creation of state police. I think that should be brought on board. It's very, very essential at this crucial time in our democratic dispensation. You can travel series of several kilometers in Nigeria. You will not see one single security post. You will travel, you will not see any security post, especially within the rural areas. And if you look at where criminality is being perpetrated more, it's within the rural areas.
Yes.
That's to tell you that security is local. So, and the idea behind the creation of state police is to recruit people that come from this locality as personnel of the state police to foster community policing. And we have a framework already in place. They have semblance of this state police. There's hardly any Nigerian society you will travel to today and you will not see a community watch group or a vigilante group. These are mechanisms, these are structures that what the government just needs to do is to train and retrain them, regularize them, monitor them, carry out a complete overhaul of them, and let them be incorporated in setting up the state police. If this is done, I think it will cover the obvious gap we have within the Nigerian security framework. They will complement the activities of the federal police, because our security agents, they are not deployed everywhere. Where abductions are taking place, you will see piecemeal deployment of either the police or the military. Let me give you, by statistics, let me use Nasarawa, Igon, a local government in Nasarawa State, as a classical example. This is a local government that have a population of over 200,000. And you want police station that has less than 50 personnel to cater for the wide expanse of land and the population of the people inhabiting in that general area. How is that possible? That means we are not serious about securing lives and property.
Are you saying that more people need to be recruited into the Nigerian police?
Aside more people being recruited, creation of state police can also cover the gap. that we have in the current.
This debate have been going on, but and there are some people who are saying that this creation of state policing, that the state governors might use it to their own advantage.
Okay. Yes, that concerns are very, very valid. That state governors will use them to, or might use them. And why Nigerians are saying that? If you look at the First Republic, we operated a regional system of government whereby all regions have their policing. They have their police structures. But these police structures were used as oppression and intimidation of opposition. Now, this is 21st century, this is 2026. When all the instrumentalities of law, all the necessary safeguards are put in place, whereby there is a clear distinction between the role of the federal police and the role of the state police. The role of the, currently we have the Police Service Commission. When we have the State Police Service Commission, these are the instrumentalities of law that needs to be put in place. And policing will be removed from the exclusive legislative list. Currently, at the moment, we have it on only exclusive legislative, in that is only the federal government that can legislate on issue of police. Then it will be brought into concurrent list with a general broad oversight by the federal government. So if this oversight is put in place, I see no state governor using the creation of state police as a tool to oppress maybe the opposition of the masses. We just need all the necessary safeguard to be put in place. There are countries of the world that this is working well. We have it in the United States. In even Kenya, an African country, South Africa, they have state police and the federal police working together. And there's a considerable improvement in the security of life and property. So, like I said, the concerns being raised by Nigerians that state police, if brought on board, have the tendency of being used as a tool for intimidation by the state governors. Yes, it is very valid. However, when we have all the necessary safeguard, constitutional limits under the law being put in place, I think it can actually, cover the gap, the obvious gap we have within the Nigerian security framework. What is done? I made mention of the fact that our borders are more porous than ever before.
Exactly.
They can now, take the position, the deployments that the military are currently undertaking. Then this will allow the military to now withdraw and go back to their primary constitutionally assigned responsibility, which is to safeguard the territorial integrity of Nigeria. If that is done, you will agree with me that most of the crime being perpetrated in Nigeria is as a result of our porous border. Currently, there is unrest in Mali. There's unrest in the Sahel region. And Nigeria borders Niger. So anything whatever that is happening in Mali today, Nigeria should be prepared through our borders. And we are very close to Niger. We share considerable and sizable number of kilometers with Niger in our borders, and our borders are porous. So that is why I am calling on the federal government and other critical stakeholders that there is need to bring state police on board, to take over from the military, let the military go back to the border to safeguard our border. So if you can safeguard external threat, it will be easy to curb the internal threat that we have. So it's a holistic approach towards actually improving the security of life and property in Nigeria.
And now, in terms of collaborating with other military forces, how well are we doing in terms of intelligence gathering?
I want to say that the best form of intelligence is human intelligence. And you made mention of how we synergizing with other militaries of the world. Previously, in the past weeks, the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, was in Turkey to do what? To foster military synergy between Nigeria and Turkey. And that has bring about a situation whereby about 200 military personnel will be sent to Turkey for training, because areas whereby we need support, we need collaboration, Nigeria should do that, especially in terms of technology and intelligence. December 2025 last year, there was a coordinated precision strike between Nigeria and United States in Sokoto. This is collaboration. At the regional level, we have the multinational joint task force that is headquartered in N'Djamena. These are framework in place that the Nigerian military have put in place towards fostering synergy in curbing transnational crime. So I'm not saying these measures are perfect. They are not perfect. For instance, Niger has withdrawn from ECOWAS. Niger has withdrawn from MNGTF. Now, information and intelligence between Nigeria and Niger is nothing to write home about. So, the Nigerian government, who is one of the most financiers of ECOWAS, needs to take up the challenge and see the possibility of reaching out to Niger government that we are brothers. We need each other in terms of information and intelligence sharing. Leaving the ECOWAS does not mean Nigeria cannot foster relationship, especially in areas of security that affect the lives of Nigerians and Nigerians. Nigeria should reach out to Niger. Let's drop the fact that the government that they have is an aberration, they have a military government. No, we are talking about the security of life and property. If Niger can come back to multinational joint task force that it had withdrawn, it will foster information and intelligence gathering, because crime is now transnational. And at the local level in Nigeria, in terms of information and intelligence sharing, you need to engage more with the community, because crime is embedded in these communities and localities. And by endearing yourself to them, that see, we are for you, and they see that you don't take side, you are to foster information and intelligence gathering and security of life and property, the people will be ready to come and dish out information to the security agents. And how can that be done? You know, synergizing more in a robust way with the traditional rulers, with the local vigilante, with the age grade in the community. If this is done, even the government have a role to play, not only the security agents. Many a times you will see that the standard of living in these rural areas is nothing to write home about. Many of them, they have deficit in terms of infrastructure, water supply, good road network, good schools. If the government can actually also improve in all these infrastructural facility, they are seeing the dividends of democracy. They will not hate and abet criminals. They will be the one to be pointing at you that, okay, so person is a criminal, so person is planning this. Then and before it escalates, the security agents can now do the needful. All
right, thank you so much, Captain. Our time is up, and I must say a very big thank you for your opinion and your thought this evening. It's been wonderful having you. But then, before we go, it's not just about one soldier or one police. We have a reoccurrence of these cases. We have the Lekki toll gates, we have the Tunjibiri, we have the Gili market, and all we've been saying so far is condolences, compensation, and the rest of it. And like my guest said, these are very critical institutions that should not be joked with. So we cannot keep losing lives, young Nigerians for that matter, and the Nigerians which you are promising them that the leaders of tomorrow keep losing their lives on daily basis. It doesn't speak so well of us as Nigerian, and of course as us as a country. This is where we draw the conversation this night. Until we come here with some other time, keep watching KAFTAN television. And to the families of the demise, our condolences, we extend our condolences. We pray that the good Lord console you. This is KAFTAN television, and I am Chinaza Asiwu. I'll see you next week. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and have yourself a beautiful weekend. Happy Workers' Day.